Hey guys, it's Stacy. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a video on my personal experiences at supernatural conventions, so let's just get right into it. First, let me just start by saying that prior to a couple of years ago, well, I started watching Supernatural a couple of years ago, but then even after I had caught up on Supernatural, I didn't even know that supernatural conventions were a thing until I discovered one day just browsing the internet that not only are there conventions out there, they have Comic-Cons, but there were conventions just for Supernatural. I just didn't know that they were a thing, so when I did discover they were a thing, I had to go. Even after I saw the price tag on going to some of these conventions, I knew that it was something that I wanted to do. So I started researching them and just seeing what they were all about, and I had seen people with photo ops and whatnot. And when I learned that that's what was happening at these conventions and all of the panels, I got really, really excited. So I finally discovered that they were coming to my area. I do live in Florida, and they came to Jacksonville in January of 2017 it was. So that was my first convention, was in January 2017, and it was an amazing experience. I did go to this convention alone, as in I didn't know anybody else there. I did have a friend who came with me one or two of the days, but she was only there part of the day and she wasn't sitting in the same area that I was, so we weren't even there together the whole time. But it was just something that I really wanted to do, and I didn't want the fact that I was going alone to stand in the way. So if you're somebody who wants to go to these conventions and you're afraid to go alone, please don't be. Everybody there that you meet is it's just the nicest group of people that you'll ever meet. People always talk about the supernatural family, and going to these conventions made me realize that it's a real thing. Getting in touch with all of these people and seeing them, we're all in the same room at the same place at the same time because we all love the same thing. So no matter who you run into at these conventions, you're going to have something in common because we all love supernatural, and that's why we're there. I was a bit overwhelmed at first with going to one of these conventions just because it was my first time. I was a newbie, so I did as much research as I could. I joined the Facebook group for the location of the convention, and everybody there was super nice too, willing to answer any of your questions. So the first day, you can do pre-registration usually on Thursday nights. I think that's a pretty standard thing, but the convention itself doesn't start until Friday. Don't miss out on Friday. Of course, if you can't afford it, then that's one thing, but if you can't afford it, I do highly recommend going on Friday. That's when they have some of the other actors there that aren't like Jared, Jensen, or Misha. I got to see and meet the guy who plays Death, who's also on one of my other favorite shows, Heartland. So I got to talk to him, and I asked him a question at one of his panels. It was really cool. And then, of course, Elena Huffman was there. Mark Pellegrino was there. I don't remember exactly what day he was there. He might have been there Friday too. Sometimes the actors will do more than one panel, and every convention is different as far as who's there. Now usually, of course, the staples are Jared, Jensen, and Misha, but even my first convention versus my second one, there were a couple of different actors there. So the first day was really just about registering. There were some panels, looking at all of the merchandise. The merchandise is so cool, and all the people who run those booths are the nicest people that you'll meet there as well. Everyone's super nice. In fact, I got a bracelet from this one booth, and she was so nice, and she also loved Buffy, and she had Buffy merchandise, and I love Buffy. But one of my jewels that she had given me on my bracelet, it ended up falling off, and it was really no fault of her own. It just fell off, and she fixed it for me, no problem whatsoever. Just no questions about it. So nice. You'll get to see so much cool stuff, and all of these really creative people creating all of these products and lines of clothing and merchandise and jewelry. Pretty much anything under the sun you can find there that's supernatural related. It's really, really cool. Make sure you bring money because you're going to want to buy everything. So save up for it if you are going to go. And then Saturday is more panels, and also the Saturday night special, which is the concert from Loud and Sway. Now, going to the first convention, I didn't really understand what Loud and Swain was or what it was about. And also Jason Manz is there, who is a super nice guy too, and he's a musician, and I didn't really understand the connection at first going to the conventions, who they were, what it was about. But as you go to the convention, you kind of get a feeling more of what it is. They're the house band, and I think Jason Manz is friends with some of the actors on the show, which is probably where the connection comes from. But the Saturday night special, do not miss the Saturday night special. It's the concert every Saturday night they do at the conventions with Loud and Swain. It's an amazing time, even if you don't know their music, which I didn't really know their music at first, honestly. And it's just so fun. It's just you're in this room with a giant group of friends listening to this awesome music. And then Sunday, of course, is when Jared and Jensen are there, and they do their panel. They do a gold panel in the morning, and the gold panel is for people who have the gold seats. It's broken up into sections as far as what level of ticket you get. The gold are the most expensive, then silver, copper, and I think it goes back from there. But if you have a gold ticket, you get to see them in the morning, and then they do a panel for everyone in the afternoon. My first convention in Jacksonville, I was silver, so I didn't get to see the gold panel. But my second convention, I did do gold, and the first panel was awesome. And instead of like a lottery system where you get to find out if you get to ask a question, it's really they just pick people in the room and you raise your hand. So that's pretty cool. But overall, my first experience at the Jacksonville convention was phenomenal, and I got hooked right away, which is why I ended up going to the second convention I went to. But just don't be afraid to do it if you want to do it, would be my advice, even if you're alone, because I did it basically alone, and I met really, really great people. One person I met, I'm going to the next convention with her, and we're splitting in a hotel. Same thing happened at the second convention. I met another really nice person who ended up being close friends, and now we're all sharing a hotel room together at the next convention. So you'll make friends, and just let it happen. Don't force anything. Just relax, have a good time, talk to the person next to you, talk to the person you're waiting in line with, the person in front of you at the coffee shop at the hotel. You'll connect with people and it'll happen. So then my second convention I actually went to in January of this year, so just a few months ago, and they came to Orlando, which was really cool because they had never come to Orlando. And initially after the convention in Jacksonville, they said that they weren't coming back to Jacksonville until December of 2018. So basically almost 2 years later, and I am going to that convention too. That's at the end of this year. But they announced a little bit later that they were coming to Orlando, so I had to go. I got gold tickets this time, and it was totally worth it in my opinion. So I got the gold panel. I was in like second row. Awesome, awesome seats. Again, just a phenomenal time. Probably even a better time than my first convention I went to, just because I think I was a little bit more comfortable with how it worked and where to go when. You'll just get used to how things go, and of course reach out to anybody you see and ask them if you ever have a question. Everyone's super nice. My favorite part of the conventions, honestly, is probably the photo ops. I think the photo ops are such a cool opportunity. I love the photos that I have gotten. The first year I only got one photo, and that was with Jensen, because Dean's my favorite. So that picture, and I'll try and put it up here if I can so you guys can see it, and I'll probably post it on my Instagram. But I love that photo so much. The time in the photo op is super quick, don't get me wrong. You only get like seconds to be with them, but they'll do pretty much any pose you want, and of course there are restrictions, and those are in the rules and the guidelines and stuff that you can see on the convention. But I just wanted a hug shot with Jensen, and they seem like such nice people, and they're taking their time to do this. Of course they are getting paid, but still, they literally take photos with thousands of people at these conventions over the weekend. So my second year I did get a photo with Jensen too, and I might love it even more than the first one that I got. It's hard to tell. But I also love my photo with Jared, and I'll share that here too. And then last minute at the con, I ended up just falling so in love with Brianna and Kim. They were there. They weren't at the first convention I went to. So last minute I did end up buying a photo op with them, and I love that picture too. With them, I have to say about Brianna and Kim, they just make you feel like you know them. Like, I feel like they're just one of my girlfriends, or two of my girlfriends, I should say. You just like connect with them immediately, even though you barely talk to them. You just feel something with them. Now, apart from the photo ops, I did also get autographs my first year, and actually my second year. I've kind of made it a tradition. I'm going to have to get really creative with this, because my first year I brought a picture of my cat Chester. Some of you might know he's named after Winchester. His full name's Winchester, but I call him Chester. So I'll share that photo here too. I got a lot of autographs on that photo. In fact, the only one that I didn't get, which I don't know why, is Rob Benedict, so I'm going to have to bring that to the next con to get him to sign it, and then I think I'll be done with that one. This past January I took a picture of me and Chester together, and we're both wearing red flannel, so like we match. And of course Winchester's wear plaid, so he has to be wearing plaid, so we're both wearing plaid in this photo. And I'll share it here too, and I love that photo. I think it's so funny. And I had Jared and Jensen sign that one. And then another picture of my cat Chester from the first con, I had just Jared and Jensen sign. And actually the first picture that I got with Jensen is framed and hanging in my room. And then also the picture of Chester with just Jared and Jensen's signatures hanging in my room. My advice to anyone who is thinking of going to one of these conventions is just to go without any reservation. Just reservation as in like inside of you, and get a reservation for the hotel. That's not what I mean. Definitely get a reservation for the hotel. But I mean like emotionally, don't have any reservations about doing it, especially if you want to do it alone. I say go for it. I did it. I don't regret it. And now I have friends from those conventions who I'll be going to future conventions with. Just have fun and relax and experience it, because the weekend's going to go by so fast. You know, you spend money on these things and they're basically vacations for a lot of people. I know they are for me. I save money for these because they're something that I really enjoy. So just make sure you enjoy it and relax and be in the moment. I am only able to go to them like once a year. Some people can't even do that. Some people are able to go multiple times a year to places across the country. I can't do that, so I wait till they come to my state. But if you can go at all, even if it's just one day, I recommend you going. They're a blast. So that's kind of all I have to say about my personal convention experiences. I'll share my photos. I'll probably put them on Instagram. So if you guys have any questions about my experiences with conventions, or you want to see any other types of videos, please comment down below. Hit that subscribe button if you like this at all. I really, really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!